Welcome back. You tuned into Inspired Afternoons, and this is your educational insight segment. And now we're going to be speaking to, well, one of our very own who has just recently graduated with his medical degree. So, yes, we have a doctor in the house, in the studio as well. And he's also the host. He has been sometime a host. He hosts in collaboration with his colleague Shakil Garda. They host a youth offering, and yes, I've got him on today because I needed to appeal to the youth. We've been told now that the numbers are increasing with a new strain of COVID, and this time the high risk sector of the population is no longer the senior citizens, but the adolescents. I'm told the 14 to 21 year olds are actually the most high risk or most susceptible or vulnerable to this new strain, which not only in South Africa, but I've just seen in Europe as well, the numbers are increasing here. So this is an appeal to the youth. And that's why I've got Aqeel here, because I have said, let me get one of his own to actually appeal to the youth listening out there, because yes, I know at that age we are carefree, we feel invincible, we feel indestructible. I was there once. We don't let fear ruin our party, or that we just, especially now it's December, everybody, university students have wrote exams, or curriculums have just come out of their exams, grade 10s to grade 10s and grade 11s also had exams, and even the grade 8 and 9. So it's chill time. And I know teenagers at that age, young adolescents, just love to chill, hang out with your friends, have social gatherings and things like this, and throw caution to the wind. But this is really, really serious now. And the issue is we don't even know what will be this long-term effect of the virus on the youth, because we see with senior citizens, for 2 to 3 months after they were positive and had severe symptoms or even mild symptoms of COVID, they are still experiencing difficulty in breathing, tightening of the chest, wheezing, and other secondary complications. So this is why more than ever we need to take our precautions. So let me welcome Dr. Aqeel Wadee to the program. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome, Aqeel, to Inspired Afternoons.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's lovely to join you this afternoon, Mariam.
Yes, so I was now looking for a medical doctor to please offer advice to the youth and that age group. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get on some professor at university or the academic to come on and to speak to them. I mean, they've been on other radio stations. The think tanks of the Command Council have been coming out and explaining to us about the new strain of the virus, as well as just the precaution. The new word is the non-pharmaceutical precautions that we need to take. So I said, you know what, let me get one of their own, somebody who's there with the youth, somebody who also understands chill out time, December time as a break time, somebody who studied and burned the books for, I think, close on 7 years now. This is in addition to his matric schooling and his high schooling. So Aqeel, tell us a little bit more about this virus, and is it serious? Does your compatriots, the youth, need to take heed?
Look, so I'm going to speak to it from a number of perspectives. I think the first perspective is from a kind of medical perspective, and I must qualify this in saying that I've just qualified as a doctor, and so I'm not an epidemiologist and by no means an expert in the subject. But I'll also speak to it from a personal perspective. So I'm young, I'm fit, I train regularly and so on, and I got COVID, and I can promise you it was not a fun time. So I'll start with the first bit of it. And to be honest, I think there's limited understanding of what the second strain is and what it does. What we do know is that it appears to be more virulent and more dangerous than the first strain, and it also appears to be impacting young people more. Now, we're not sure whether that's because of the nature of the virus itself or because of the fact that I think young people have been kind of getting out and about more, especially in a South African context. So that's the first part of it. And the second part of it then comes to, okay, well, what are our kind of personal experiences, or what was my personal experience of COVID. And I can tell you that this is the most sick I've ever been in my life. I've had mumps before when I was growing up. And to give you a bit of context, I go to the gym like 6 or 7 times a week. I eat very healthily. I generally tend to look after myself really well. We got it from myself and two of my colleagues got it from the from a hospital in Potchefstroom. Um, and for a solid 2 weeks, I was completely out of it. And it took me a further then 2 or 3 weeks to get better thereafter. Now, this new strain, which seems to be impacting young people, is apparently even worse than the previous strain. And so I was chatting to one of my colleagues who's working in Cape Town at the moment, and she was telling me that one of the evenings at one of the hospitals in Cape Town, the hospital she's working at, there were 35 patients, all 35 of those patients in hospital, right? So with serious COVID, not mild symptoms, all of them under the age of 28. I think that should give you an indication that it doesn't matter, how young or how fit or, um, you know, what age bracket or whatever you're in, that you should be taking precautions. But I think, look, equally, we're not in hard lockdown at the moment. And so now the responsibility now becomes a personal responsibility, and it applies both to people my age and also to people older as well.
I'm so pleased you've been able to give a personal account and a personal narrative in this, because you know what, we can speak, but when somebody's walk that talk, you're in a better place to do this. And the fact that, although you say you're newly graduated, but as somebody who's studying and somebody who's an intern, you're actually at hospital and you are at the bottom of the food chain in the hospital. So you exposed to a whole lot more. You physically there to see what's happening in terms of patients being admitted, who are they, the conditions are there, the difficulty of patients. So you are talking from a point of observation and a very, very insightful place you're coming from.
Yes, absolutely, and I think perhaps that's one of the blessings and one of the curses of being in my position at the moment, is that we have the capacity to see all of these things, and then also have the benefit of being a young person who, like all other young people at the moment, this is probably my last long holiday for quite a while. Who wants to go out and wants to go and socialize and wants to go and visit all of my family members and so on. And so I think then. We need to then find a good balance, because if I were to give the advice, or if anyone were to give the advice, well, don't go out, don't go to a restaurant, sit at home, isolate as far as possible. I think to a large extent, people, that is the ideal, that is what we should be doing, but especially young people are not necessarily going to listen. And so I guess then from that perspective, talking to some of the little pointers which we should all be doing, but young people in specific, is the most important thing you can do is wear a mask. I think your risk, even if you're in contact with someone who's COVID positive, your risk drops down to, if two people are wearing a mask and they're both COVID positive, or one's COVID positive and you're less than a meter apart from each other, if you're wearing a good mask, it's something like, it reduces by 97%. Right. And I know that there's sometimes pressure. So a lot of people have been getting married and having birthday parties and graduation celebrations and so on. There is pressure at these events to take your mask off because everyone else is taking a mask off. I think it's important to kind of stick to your own kind of value systems and protect yourself and other vulnerable people around you, and go, well, I'm going to wear a mask even if I am at that function. And the same then applies to, like, any other gathering which we're going to. So if you're going out to a restaurant, you're meeting up with friends, make sure that you've got that separation, got that social distancing. I know it's been a horrible year. We love to embrace each other and hug and so on, but unfortunately, considering the circumstances, it just isn't a risk worth taking. And I mean, and now we're realizing that even young people can be very, very severely impacted by this disease, to the extent where it can threaten your life. And it's just not worth it for a hug or a little bit of extra time, or smoking a shisha with your friends, whatever.
I was going to bring
But
that up, Akil. I said, I think those hookah parties or hookout, currently that is an absolute no-go, is having those hookah parties, because when you sit there, everybody sits in close proximity, and you share, and it's just a lot of contamination. And for me, that is an absolute no-go and a high risk. So that activity is definitely out. Do you concur?
absolutely, I concur 100%. I don't think we should be smoking, habli or shisha or hookah, whatever it's called, on an ordinary day. It's incredibly, incredibly harmful to your health. And I think if you smoked it before, you'll realize afterwards. You feel it the next day. But especially not at this period of time. That is, prime, that pipe, especially considering that it's moving around from mouth to mouth, is um, prime real estate for the COVID vaccine, for the COVID virus rather.
I love what you said. I'm going to use this prime real estate for the COVID virus in terms of that. So, besides wearing of the mask, what else uh, do you advise youth to do in terms of when you're hanging out with friends, or if you have a brain, at some time you need to eat, so you have, at some point for a while, mask will be removed. When that happens, what advice do you offer in terms of that?
So look, distance, distance, distance. There's a lot of fun which you can have in relatively more COVID safe environments. So if you want to get out at this period of time, take your friends and go on a hike, or go and have a picnic at Emerentia Dam, wherever else you are in the country. If you are in a relatively enclosed environment, you're in a house, you're in an apartment, make sure all of your doors and all of your windows are open. Um, Only remove your mask when you're eating. But you're right. I mean, in these instances, we have to eat, and we have to, have a drink or have a cup of coffee or whatever. Make sure that before you take your mask off, you're at least 1.5 to 2 meters away from the next person. Um, and then I think also, I mean, it's not practical. It's not something we do, but often we don't realize that the people around us are feeling a little bit under the weather. It could be something small, I've got a slight cough today. I'm just feeling a little bit off, and that's the way it starts, and that's the way it spreads. In fact, that's what happened, with me. We were all staying in an apartment together, and we were social distancing and so on. And we were traveling in a car together, and one of my colleagues on that morning went, "Oh, I'm not feeling too well today," and then the subsequent, 2 or 3 days, we all ended up getting it. Um, and so, just as simple as keeping social distance, wearing a mask whenever possible, sanitizing your hands. So make sure that you can, either with soap or water or actual alcohol-based sanitizer. And before you get into the gathering, just make sure that everyone around you is relatively feeling okay. It doesn't mean that they're not asymptomatic. So you still have to take those precautions, even if they are. But I think it can save a world of trouble if we take these small steps.
100%. And so I had three thoughts here. First of all, I think if anybody, especially youth, are there, if you're feeling under the weather, maybe you even, it might be your normal allergy flaring up and you're having an allergic attack or heightened it will be best today to say, I'm staying at home, and just, even if it's for a day, to just isolate, because you never know, because uh, COVID mimics so many other other ailments and illnesses and virus. Like you could be having a diarrhea and runny tummy, which normally would be a tummy bug, but people have known to have diarrhea when they were positive, COVID positive. So it mimics many of the known ailments or viruses there. So maybe for all the youth out there, as Aqeel said, if you're feeling under the weather, then stay at home. Yes, you might miss out the hangout or the chill out or that, but actually you're caring because you're saving lives, yeah, or you're saving somebody from going through something that is truly unpleasant, as you have mentioned. Secondly, as you've said, and I like your idea. So if you still want to go out and have fun, instead of chilling in a confined space at a friend's house or somewhere like this, maybe, as you said, go out for a hike will do you good. Exercise is good. as well as if you at one of the beautiful parks or something, then you have enough space to sit apart. Everybody takes your chair or take your blanket, and each one make your own sort of bubble, and you still can see each other. So you know what, if you need to do something, rather go and do it outdoors in a place where you can be at least 2 or 3 meters apart from everybody and still be together, so to speak. What do you say? How's that as an alternate?
Absolutely. I think that is that's probably the best thing we could be doing at the moment. And I think it has two benefits. One is you're getting out, you're appreciating nature, and there are a whole lot of psychological and health benefits to that alone, getting a bit of sunshine. But on top of that, protecting yourself from COVID. And I think if there's one thing which I really want to impress in young people my age or younger for that matter, is the one place to absolutely avoid, and I know that we should be avoiding these places in general, um, especially from an Islamic perspective. But I mean, also during this time of year, everyone's out and about. And any sort of party, right? It could be a party at a house. It could be a party. It could be, going out to like an actual party where there's loud music and people dancing and stuff like that. Those are absolute super spreader events. We've already seen it with matric rage, and I suppose sympathize with the young matriculants, and they want to get out and they want to have that experience. But as far as possible, avoid those types of gatherings under all possible circumstances.
So, Akhil, so for me, you know what? I think we also need to change our mindsets, everybody. So this is youth, young adults, everybody. Maybe we need to change our idea of what we perceive to be a party. Because like we say, you can even go and party out in nature. And so maybe we also need to change our perceptions on how we view a party. A party doesn't have to be in that close proximity, everybody there and just going wild. But we can still have a party, and you can still have an enjoyable time with friends or family, but in a different setting, outdoor, good ventilation, spacious, not a crowded area. So I think it's about changing our perceptions and being responsible. And I'd like to appeal to all the youth. Let's have a hashtag to say, I'm protecting, or I'm a protector, or I'm a hashtag responsible, and maybe put up social media pictures of people that are physically distancing, that have their mask on while still having. So you know what? Because to post on Instagram and it is all about showing off in where I am and that. So let's do it, but let's do it being responsible to say, you know what, we're still having fun, but look here, we all masked on, or we're all sitting far apart and we're enjoying our meal. Yes, we're still having fun, because at the end of the day, we're still connecting with each other, but we're being responsible. So I would like to appeal to all the youth out there. Let us see Instagram posts of people actually being responsible and taking COVID protective measures, while at the same time bonding and enjoying themselves.
Absolutely, I'd support that completely, and I might post a couple of things myself as well.
I'm going to look for that. We're going to all, everybody, please check out Aqeel's Instagram or Twitter, or him saying this. And I think if you start it, I think you're a good role model by you just graduating. You're a presenter here. You have a huge following like this. And I mean, you have your mind and your heart in a good place. And you know what? We need more young mentors, especially for the youth. And motivators, and I can't think of anybody better than yourself. So thank you for this. I think you appeal to everybody. I'm not saying that the experts don't, but you know, when it's coming from an expert, it's almost like the principal or educator or lecturer talking you down. But if it's somebody that they can relate to, it makes it more palatable and more to understand. And even if parents out there listening, they're going to tell the youth, you know what, we heard Aqeel Wadee, who just graduated, by the way, and he's giving this advice. So, you know what, you're one of their own, and you're a mentor. So, shukran for this time. I really, really appreciate you giving us of your time to discuss this important topic. And I wish yourself, as well as all the youth out there, please have fun, but do it responsible. Nobody's saying to stay indoors, at home. In fact, outdoors, a good ventilation is actually what's requested and what's prescribed. But have fun and connect in a responsible manner. Remember, this is for you. we need you. We need our youth to be well in optimal health, because you are the future generation and you're the future of our society. So you know what, we don't want to see down the line ill use or ill youth that have had side effects due to being infected with the corona or COVID virus or the new strain. That so please stay healthy. Any concluding remarks from you, Aqeel?
No, absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly with all of your sentiments. I think if there was one final thing I could say is that, as possible, avoidance. I took a drive the other day to go get some ice cream and went past Melrose Arch, and it was absolutely packed. And so even if it's outdoors in that sort of instance, that's, prime real estate again for that virus. But to everyone, I think just stay safe, take your precautions. You can have fun, you can socialize, and get some good food, and still have as best of holiday as you possibly can have without needing to take immense risk. And I hope that for all of you, and I think inshallah everyone stays safe and enjoys the holiday as well.
Jazakallah, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, Aqeel, and shukran for that sage advice. And you have a good break as well, because, yes, as you say, it's going to be again a difficult year, especially with COVID, that at the hospital they're going to need you. So enjoy your well deserved and well earned rest. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
And that was newly graduated Dr. Aqeel Wadee, and he was offering us advice. And I love what he said: please stay safe and stay away from COVID prime real estate places, wherever, these hotspots. So if you see a crowd, avoid the crowd, go somewhere else, move in another direction. Yes, for me, when I want to get away, I like to go where I don't know anybody, I don't see many people. So make that your vacation mission this time, far from the madding crowds, far from everybody, far away from the crowd. So stay away from there. So if there's a buzz there and everybody's there, change of plane. We've become masters of adaptation and masters of being able to pivot. So this holiday, let's just use what we have to adapt and to pivot, so that we can be safe and our youth be that. Set a trend. Don't be trend followers, be trend setters. Be a trend setter in safety and protection. So until tomorrow, may you all be under the mercy and protection of the Almighty. And I thank you for the pleasure of your company. It's been an absolute pleasure for this past 2 hours. From me until tomorrow, peace and blessings to all our listeners.